All right. Welcome to day 55 of The Art of Focus by Dan Coe. I'm reading 3 pages a day, and tomorrow is the final day. So I hope you can join me. And I really enjoyed this. So thank you so much for uh, being here. All right, let's jump in. Understand that ideas beget execution. You cannot have a better idea if its predecessor has not already been actualized. If our ancestors did not have the idea of a field plow and made it real through their ability to create, the idea of a tractor would be difficult to fabricate. In your life, if you do not have the idea to improve your health, business, or relationships, it will be difficult to reach the next stage of development in each. The problem is with those that lack the clarity to act with focus. We all know those people with the latest and greatest idea that will shake the world, but when you ask them about it years later, they have no idea what you're talking about. If you have followed the path I've laid out for you, that is to solve your own survival based problems in the domains of health, wealth, and relationships, you will near the limits that material can take you. Your body and the manual labor associated with it to improve relevant skills has its limits. Yet nobody has reached the absolute limits of knowledge, consciousness, and intellectual capacity. Creativity is infinite. Productivity is finite. You can experience heightened states of creativity along this path, but realize that these are states. They are temporary. They are not your baseline operating state. When you master your survival, you unlock a stage of creativity that can carry your personal and professional life to new heights. Unfortunately, most people stop at this critical turning point in their development. This will take time, but I want to prepare you for what's to come. When you reach this turning point, you must prioritize intellectual development. That is how you maintain a sense of mastery behind your hard work. The cost of ideas is mental development, and the spread of ideas is mental reproduction. The combination of both creates mental mastery, that is, having a constant flow of mental energy that impacts the quality of experience you seek to sustain. Reading, watching, and listening to information that challenges your current ideas, beliefs, and philosophies must become a cornerstone habit in your day because you may grow attached to those ideas and yourself will cease to make progress. The challenge that this information presents will require a match in mental skill. This is how you develop your mind toward infinity. Before the internet, you would interact with at least 1,000 people in your lifetime. In each of those interactions, each person is attempting to survive the ideas they hold in their mind through communication. Each of those 1,000 people will know 1,000 more in their lifetime. Your ideas will pass on even if the impact is insignificant or negative. With this logic, you are 2 network layers away from impacting 1 billion people with your ideas for good or evil. With the emergence of the internet, this is amplified. Information spreads between hundreds of thousands of people in the blink of an eye and spreads through the digital collective consciousness. Through self-development, you can accept the responsibility to spread ideas that are conducive to critical thinking, peace, and progress. Creation and growth are universal laws that balance out the story of death and decay. They encompass the process of self-preservation and self-replication. A panther will defend itself until its demise, but even then will attempt to replicate itself in the form of offspring. Animals only have the desire to reproduce the information in their genes, while humans have the desire to reproduce the information in their minds. Remember that these desires, or desires in general, are not bad, but if you desire to change something that you can't, it becomes the source of your suffering. Creation is the process of changing what you can, which becomes a source of meaning. The success of a life form is its ability to take energy from its environment and channel it toward a purposeful creation. For this to occur, you must develop an autonomous sense of self that generates its own rules. Those that only seek to reproduce the information in their genetic code or socially conditioned mind have little conscious input in the creation of their lives. The fate of humanity is not guaranteed. The evolution of the collective is only as powerful as the individuals that comprise it. It is for that reason that our evolution depends on the individuals you and I create through the reproduction of information born from conscious personal progress. If any given self is too comfortable and mindless, they will avoid the personal challenges that influence the fate of humanity. The information you pass on to your children, their children, and the other 1 billion plus people you interact with ripples throughout the universe. We're not adapted for absolute certainty. The utopian lifestyle that most people dream of is not sustainable, and they only dream of it because they crave a break from their certain lifestyle. If society had its way and people tanned on a tropical beach all day, someone would eventually spark chaos just to create some interest in their once again certain life. The universe demands that lows counterbalance the highs. For this reason, it is important to choose the chaos you allow into your life, to pursue something big, meaty, and terrifying that pushes you out of the unknown. At the edge of the known, with one foot in the unknown, is where we are most alive. Not absolute order nor absolute chaos, but a middle path where you're engaged with the conversations, education, work, rest, training, and other challenging situations on the path to your meaningful goals. Pursuing big, lofty goals with a clear plan of your creation is how you discover new potentials for your life. Those new potentials outweigh the pleasure you can reap from any instant source. Why? Because you can feel your nervous system signal that the discovery of new potential is worth your attention. When you are at your edge, you are at one with reality. This is where the flow of information is maximized. This is where you discover new insights, ideas, and perceptions that can be laid as bricks for others to walk on. The mind and body have the drive to move forward, that is, to know and discover who we are, where we are going, and why we are going that way. So we aim for the future. But if we launch too far into the unknown, the information we perceive is too chaotic. And if we don't launch far enough, we are never exposed to the potent information we can replicate. Be careful, because once you actualize a goal, it becomes known and therefore loses the meaning it once held. From this, we realize that happiness is not found at the top of the mountain, but in getting better at climbing to new peaks of a mountain that is infinitely tall. A primary source of suffering is knowing that you are meant for more, that you have something to discover, build, and give, but have not started on your path. Many become victims of roadblocks in the way of their self-defined goals, so they fill that time with destructive actions or the certain pursuit of someone else's goals. The way out is to slingshot in the opposite direction. You don't need permission to orient yourself with authentic living. To lean into uncertainty, confront your fear, become stronger, and realize that there is no limit except the ones that you accept. Be brutally honest with yourself about where you can be in 10 years if you take responsibility for how you move in the world. Sit with the source of your suffering, the thought that you're not everything you could be, and the fact that you know it. Allow it to dig into your soul and set it on fire. Zoom out beyond your existence, paint a future you want to create, and focus your attention on authentic action. With a fire in the belly, invest your energy into that future. So much so that a lack of action would feel like a waste of $1 million. As you press on, remind yourself that the game never ends. All right. Thank you for being here. Have a wonderful afternoon, and I'll see you tomorrow for the final day.